What's up, YouTube? Communist Party leader endorses Joe Biden. Wow. Communist Party leader Bob Advocate has announced his support for former Vice President Joe Biden in the upcoming presidential election. Advocate, the founder and leader of the Revolutionary Communist Party, USA, told his followers in a statement on Saturday that they should vote for Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election. Ain't that something? As this critical hour, every appropriate means of non-violent action must be utilized to remove this regime from power, said Advocate in his statement. And if, in spite of mass protests demanding the removal of the Trump-Pence regime, this regime remains in power when it is time for voting, then using all appropriate means to work for the removal of this regime must include voting against Trump. Advocate went on to clarify that he does not want his followers to vote for a third-party candidate and that their vote must be for Biden. To be clear, this means not a protest vote for some candidate who has no chance of winning, but actually voting for a Democratic Party candidate, Biden, in order to effectively vote against Trump, wrote the communist leader. Advocate added that he still considers Biden and the Democratic Party representatives and instruments of his exploitative, oppressive, and literally murderous system of capitalism, imperialism, but that all of that needs to be disregarded for now, as ousting Trump is more important. But this election is different, affirmed the communist leader. The question is not whether Biden and the Democrats represent something good, Advocate continued. Biden is not better than Trump in any meaningful way, except that he is not Trump and is not part of the move to consolidate and enforce fascist rule, with everything that means. To approach this election from the standpoint of which candidate is better means failing to understand the truth, profound stakes, and potential consequences of what is involved, he added. The fact is that there can be one and only one good that can come out of this election, delivering a decisive defeat to Trump and the whole fascist regime. I'm a hold right there. Why would he want to oust Trump when Trump doing so much good for the country and others? I'm talking the country as a whole, every individual. Now, why would he, being a communist leader, want to oust Trump and Pence and his so-called regime? I could tell you a good synopsis on it, you know. Maybe because he is up to no good and Trump is on his heels. Because if Trump get one more seat in office, he'll be able to accomplish what he started, finish what he started. But I'm gonna leave that right there and draining the swamp. But I'm gonna leave that. And the tentacles run deep. The octopus tentacles run deep. But I'm gonna leave that alone. Bob Advocate has also endorsed violent fringe movements in the past, such as the Shining Path, a Maoist rebel movement that tried to overthrow the government of Peru by using guerrilla warfare in the late 1980s and the early 1990s. Guerrilla warfare. This right here. That's the same thing that's going on our streets right now. Guerrilla warfare. In May, before the death of George Floyd, Biden called for revolutionary institutional changes in America. You can follow Atlanta Mastrogello on Twitter at, anyway, that's the end of that. But, I get the picture. See what I'm saying? If you got communists endorsing you, that means that you got some ties with communism. And if there's a communist party in the US, surely this communist party got ties with China, which also means that you as well have ties with China. So all I can say is vote wisely. Choose your candidate with care. Me, WW. I'm going with the MAGA guy. You know, where we go one, we go all. That crowd. I think that's where it's at. At all indications. Just that's where it's at.